RTV with none other than Chris Roberts. We are doing some reshuffling of our video content. Things are going to be changing over the next couple weeks. We're going to be trying a couple new things. Yesterday's ATV was one of those things. I see people on Reddit and see people in Spectrum, and I see people in the Twitch chat right now trying to equate the short ATV to the holiday and stuff like that. It's not because of the holiday. We've been doing this for well over 5 years now. We know how to account for a day off in the middle of the week. It is exactly what Chris said it would be in RTV. We are breaking things apart. We are breaking things apart. We are going to be releasing things in individual segments. You saw Lore Makers go back out on Tuesday. It's no longer in ATV. Basically, nothing, at least for the time being. We're experimenting. We're going to try some new things. Nothing is actually, none of the featurettes, none of the big segments that we produce, which we're still producing, by the way, are bundled inside ATV. ATV is now a news program. ATV is now basically the project update and the hosting, which we've always had. And the project update is now being delivered by Chris and Sandy, as opposed to bothering Ricky and other developers who are busy, very, very busy doing their work. So things like ShipShape will be broken off into its own thing. ShipShape becomes its own thing. The featurettes, you know, like the behind-the-scenes stuff on because it was at the end of a very, very dense episode. So we're going to do it at the beginning of this episode. We're going to do all the same kinds of stuff. But we're going to present it in different ways. Shorter, more manageable format, things that people can pick up, watch, get their stuff, head out. But yeah, we're working on our next ShipShape right now, working on our next featurette right now. For RTV, RTV changes. RTV is going to have to change a little bit because RTV for this year has been a follow-up to ATV. You know, we do a big feature in ATV, and then we come back the next day for RTV and do a follow-up. As you might imagine, that's going to be a little difficult to do with these much shorter ATVs. So RTV is going to evolve again too, and we're still kind of figuring out what that's going to be. Sometimes it's going to be very much like you've seen it. It's going to be an interview. It's going to be people around the table. It's going to be an hour worth of questions from developers. We're still going to do that. Even when we switched to happy hour last year, we still had those. We call those the happy hour interviews. You're never going to lose the hour-long interview, in-depth interview for the long-time backers and to get your questions asked and whatnot. As long as I'm here, I'll fight for that. We're gonna. I don't have to fight for that. It's an easy win as far as I'm concerned. But we're still going to do that stuff. But in weeks where we don't have that, you know, we're going to do some other things. Some days we're going to play the game. Like I'm going to play the game a little bit here. Some days we're going to do. Remember the old happy hour game devs when we had Josh Herman come online and try to get me fired for an hour, making a giant crotch spider or a Vandal dog or whatever. We're going to get back to some of those. We're going to get back to some of those neat process things. Show how the sausage is made, sort of stuff. But yeah, RTV's gonna evolve and change and stuff like that. We're still gonna have the cool new format that we developed this year. Because I don't know about you. I'm really happy with RTV this year. I'm really happy with the format change and the production value and what we've done with it. And I think from what I see of you guys in the comments that you guys are too. But it's in order to do that, we lost some of the things from last year that we liked, like those happy hour game devs. So I want to get those back. And because I can't do 5 shows a week, we used to do 5 shows a week. Remember 2015, 5 shows a week? So because I can't do 5 shows a week, we're gonna mix and match. Sometimes it's gonna be the RTV like you've seen in this year. Sometimes it's gonna be more like the happy hour game devs. And then occasionally, when there isn't something, when I don't have an interview lined up, and I don't have a Jeremiah Lee here to draw a character or something like that, we're gonna hang out. We're just gonna hang out and play the game. We're gonna do that, which I'm gonna do in a little bit, because I haven't. We've been so busy. We've been so busy this year that I'm a little ashamed to admit. I'm not ashamed to admit it. It's just a reality of business that I haven't actually played 3.2. So the last 3 months got away from me. You know, we're sitting there working on all the content that we deliver and stuff like that. That we sat there. I'm like, I haven't actually played, like actually sat down and played 3.2. I've logged in. I've examined some stuff like that, but I haven't actually just played it. So we're going to see if we're going to do that. Oh, yeah, we're going to play it on live and whatnot. For those of you asking what happened to Todd Pappy, I'm looking at Todd Pappy right now. He's there talking to JJ. He's there talking to JJ. Todd Pappy will be here. Todd Pappy's in L.A. Todd Pappy is one of my top 75 favorite people that I've ever called on Skype. So when he showed up the other day, it's like, dude, I'm here. I'm in the office. I'm like, we're going to have you on. We're going to do Calling All Pappies. All right, well, maybe that's the next Calling All Devs. You never know when inspiration's going to strike. Todd, how you doing, man? How you doing? Why don't you here? Hold on. I have a seat for you here. You pull up a seat, and pull up a phone. Yeah, technically it goes on the left side, yeah. And then we'll give you some, and pull the microphone up. And I gotta figure out which one is yours. Let's see.
Test.
Did I get it? Yep. Yeah. Move the microphone just a little bit closer to your mouth there. Oh, okay, come in. You can see our screen, so you want to kind of maybe come back.
So we get to go. We just get to.
Hold on. What if we do this one? What if we do this one? Hi, everybody. Does this one work? No.
Hello.
No. I don't know. You see more on my thing. It's one of the perils of shaving your beard. You shave your beard, and your jowls show up. So I'm not gonna do the show like this.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you, Todd?
You're not George Lucas yet.
No. And I'm getting better. I'm getting better. Yeah, but let's go back to the other camera. Hard to hear, Todd. Keep talking, Todd.
Test. 1, 2. 1, 2. Turkey neck. I don't think Todd's live. Mike is live. Okay. Okay.
There you go. His mic is live. I muted mine so that I would know for sure.
Yes.
How you doing, man?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
What are you actually doing in LA? Actually, we haven't actually got to hang out. When you showed up the other day, I was in the middle of dressing.
Yeah.
For a thing.
Yes, you were.
I was in. It's a long story we won't go into.
But he was fully dressed.
I was fully dressed.
Yes. It wasn't like mid-shirt, mid-pants kind of thing.
Yeah. No. But we were filming a thing that you guys haven't seen yet and whatever. So I was changing my clothes.
Yeah. So I'm here to sync with the LA guys. Obviously Paul Rendell, and looking at 3-3 aspects, sync with Kirk and basically the teams that he's running. Sync with Josh and Sean on anything character related and kind of tech design or tech art aspects that we need from the teams. We'll go to Austin for a little bit.
That's right, you're going to Austin next week, huh?
Yeah, sync with those guys. And then come back and then go on vacation.
Oh, you're getting to take your vacation here?
Yeah. So
cool.
the wife and kids came over and we'll go on vacation and be able to go see some family that we have up in Oregon and
I love Oregon.
And relax.
I haven't been to Oregon since like 2000.
Can I actually pump my gas up there?
I heard that now they've rescinded that law that ran it mandatory for full service, so you can actually do self-service now. Okay. Because I remember seeing my Twitter feed filled up with people like, I don't know how to pump gas. Why would they make me pump gas? He goes, that's terrible.
It was really, really strange. The first time I went there, and I got out of the car, and it's like, and they came up and, what are you doing? It's
yep.
Like, I didn't know about this.
Yep. So just because we do this every time, because everybody's show is somebody's first show.
Uh-huh.
Who are you? Like, what is your role? Like, we started with the why are you here, but just in general and overall, what do you do for Star Citizen?
I am Star Citizen's live game director. So that means that any of our releases and that and any releases that we do towards the persistent universe, I work with Aaron, Chris, Tony, and the teams to make sure that it's heading in the right direction and it's going to be getting us the minimal viable product for that first release, you know, or when we switch over from alpha to beta, and then eventually ship, you know, it, and then just do updates from there. So my job is just to make sure that's heading in the right direction, and obviously because Chris is so busy running the project as well as running the company, and he's usually here in LA. For the times that he's not in LA, then obviously we have Nick, my counterpart for S42, and then myself to help deal with the teams, help answer any questions that they might have, and make sure that it's heading in the direction that CR wants.
Gotcha. And guys, we are going to take some questions like normal, whatnot. So if you have a question for Todd Pappy, and it's pretty much anything related to the persistent universe. You can submit your question in either Twitch chat or in Spectrum chat. We got them both up. You can help me pull them out from the conversation by prefacing your question with the word "question" in capital letters surrounded by brackets. I do want to say I haven't gotten the chance to.
I do love chat. Holy crap!
Somebody's got arachnophobia. I feel sorry for you. Now, are they talking about the old VHS movie? I had arachnophobia on VHS. Remember John Goodman?
If he's doing that to a VHS tape, then that's a little painful.
Oh, okay. I read the rest of the sentence. All right. One of the things I want to say, I haven't gotten to thank Todd properly. Calling All Devs. Calling All Devs, our new show that's on Monday, where we get to call people and get you the answers to your most burning questions directly, would not be possible without this guy. This is the guy that I email every week and say, here are my questions, and he sends me off to different directions. He sends me out, go to this person, go to this person, go to this person, and then he gives me the answers. So when I go to this person, I can check their math and whatnot. And then when they don't match up, we have to follow up and figure out the stuff. Yeah. You're going to see on this Monday's Calling All Devs, you're going to see a take two with Luke Presley. We actually tried to get Luke Presley in last week, but we had a 30-minute discussion without recording a moment of it. Because we were trying to work out what the answer would be, and we got into exploring the idea. And it's actually something I need to talk about.
Okay.
But yeah, it's great, and it wouldn't be possible without guys like Todd. So he made that show possible. So.
And what color is my answers?
Pink, which is always funny.
The Pappy Pink.
Yes. Yeah. Is that what it's for? Pappy Pink.
It was. Everybody uses red. Everybody uses blue. Like I wanted it to stand out, and then I used to do bump emails, like, you know, when you don't get a response, and then you're like, a bump, and then every now and then it would be like a 72-point font, bold, pink bump, and I kind of view it as like when you got beat by Dan in Street Fighter 2. As it was kind of like the ultimate humiliation kind of thing. It's the same kind of idea.
Got some. See if we have any Dan fans in the chat.
Yeah,
probably not. Where was I going with that? Yes, your responses are in pink. So then when I send the question out to developers and whatever, I always include your answer. I always include your thing. This is what Todd says, and then they say pink, and I always get a, why is that in pink? Yeah. I'm like, have you ever pappied before?
Yeah.
You ever pappied before? All right, so right off the bat, first question in the chat says, any fix for losing bought weapons and items?
Bought which way?
Yeah, we need a little more information on that. Stadulator. If you're talking about the UEC melting that's going on right now, yes, that is an ongoing concern. Turbulent is working on it right now. I don't have my Skype open on this computer, but I was just Benoit and the platform team are still on that. They've got most of it going the way they want, but they're still tracking down a couple edge cases. So if that's what you're referring to, it is still in progress.
And it's PAPY. It started off as PAPI. Sorry, I saw
Like
somebody's chat, but like several hundred years ago, it changed to PAPY.
Yep. How naked do you feel without the beard, Lando? I feel amazing without the beard. F that beard.
So light.
F that. I will never do another dev beard ever again. Do you plan on introducing an auction house?
Not right now. I mean, I think we want to do player to player trading, but auction houses, that's a whole other kit and caboodle.
Yep. Do planets and moons rotate around a mother celestial body like the sun?
They rotate. They don't orbit right now. Orbiting is going to take a lot of physics power, and then it might require us to think how we do IFCS or things a little bit differently. It will bring in a fair amount of headaches that we will need to tackle. I know CR wants it, but obviously, I mean, if you think about like traditional kind of game design, traditional maps, like, you know, it's not all of a sudden Germany's right next to the States and therefore makes a 2-minute quantum jump versus a 9-minute quantum jump.
Yeah.
But these are things that we'd have to take into account and balance, and then also what happens, you know, when players are flying into these things, and then it picking up, you know, this planet's coming in and you're flying this way, or you know, took off way back there, and well, that planet has probably already passed.
It presents a lot of challenges, not challenges that we're afraid of by any means.
No, it's a lot of technical challenges. I mean, NASA's been dealing with this for quite a while, and you know, eventually we will.
Yep. All right, let's see. When will we see an idea of the 300 rework? Or oh, wait. You have two questions. You're asking about the 300 rework and then jump points. I should have read this ahead. Those are two very different things. I'm going to go ahead and do the 300 rework. If you check out the monthly report that just went out yesterday, you will see that we have just begun the very earliest stages of work on that. I would look towards those ATV. Those ATV project updates, which is basically what ATV is for the time being. I would look to there. You're not going to see it in the next week or two. I mean, they're just starting stuff. But as the time goes on in the next couple months, that's probably the place you're going to see it. And then eventually, when the time is right, a fully fledged ship shape.
Okay. Regarding jump points, first we're building Stanton, and then once we start building other solar systems, then obviously we got to work on how we're going to connect those, and that's where that comes in.
2 cups and a string.
Totally.
That
will totally work.
It's essentially what a jump point is, right?
Yeah.
2 cups and a string. I probably oversimplified that. Let's see. Hi. How will you handle popular hubs as far as the ATC goes?
Well, I think, at least in, let's say, Loreville, we have the support system to we have what we call a spaceport associated with it, and then at that point in time, your turnaround time and the amount of time that it takes for you to get into your ship and get out of the hangar, you have a certain amount of time to do that, and then if you don't, then there's some sort of penalty, you know, whether you get kicked to the back of the queue, despawns, your ship gets despawned, somebody else spawns in there, and then takes off. But as far as, let's say it was Alisar, and Alisar all of a sudden becomes the hot pocket that everybody wants to go to.
Hot pocket.
Exactly. Then for us, there's a certain amount of like docking fees or landing fees that would be associated with that, and based off the popularity, then that's kind of how we will deal with it.
Who has the sexiest eyes? Todd. It's not even a question. I legitimately got lost in Todd's eyes the very first time we interviewed each other. Yeah, I legitimately, like right in the middle of the interview, and you just stopped talking. I was just like, oh shit.
There was at a different company. I was going around meeting all the developers, and one of the guys stopped me like 30 minutes in, or 30 seconds into my kind of talk with him, or one-on-one talk, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I can't look at you." And I said, "Why?" And he's like, "You have woman's eyes." There was a big cultural and language difference, and
Yeah.
I went home and told my wife about that, and I've never lived that one down. So, and I don't know what woman's eyes means.
I don't know either. You're involved in the ship process, obviously.
So,
in some way. We've been introducing a lot of entry-level profession ships lately. Obviously, we just did the entry-level salvage ship, the Vulture, available now. Earlier this year, we did the we did the Vulcan, which was entry-level repair and refueling, stuff like that. I've seen it come up 3 times here. What are your thoughts about an entry-level science ship?
It's something we've discussed. So, John and I have a matrix of ships, and John Crew, yes. We have a matrix of ships, and we go through and we talk about it, and different ideas, different things that we feel would help fill out, that matrix, and whether that be a starter, mid-level, in-game kind of ship. And Chris firmly believes we don't need a starter ship for everything. We don't need a mid-game ship for everything. We don't need an in-game ship for everything. So it really just depends on, our interests at the time, what kind of role it's going to play. Because I think with our ships, at least I push for very, very hard theming. These are our heroes, in the game. Just like Millennium Falcon is a hero in Star Wars kind of thing. So for us, we just want to make sure that it has a role, it fits a purpose, it fits that theme, so then everybody, kind of gets it, and understands what the gameplay will be about with that thing.
Gotcha. So where did we end up with it? It's a neat idea. I couldn't tell you anything like an ETA or anything.
No.
Let's see. Any chance to have the Twitch channel host streamers while the channel is not live? We actually used to do that. We used to do that last year. It's possible it might come back. I'll put it on a list and we'll look into it. Any progress on exploration gameplay? I think we need more of the universe to explore before you have gameplay for it.
Yeah, but yes and no. Meaning, I truly think that we could do exploration gameplay in like finding things right now. And obviously, yes, we need to have a bigger playfield, but even now, our playfield is bigger than
Fair enough.
any other game. But first things first is scanning. So, and getting the ping, getting that short-range scanning, and then from there, talking about how we're going to do long-range scanning. And then even with our probability cubes, being able to sit down and say, okay, if I'm here and then I want to scan this way, I open up my lens and I'm looking that way. What are different things in the probability cubes that are in front of me that will show up? And so those are discussions that Tony and I have had, but there's nothing from a tech standpoint that we've been able to put in yet. Yeah. But we need a full team to do that and to realize that. And but that one to me is kind of like resource gathering as well as transit or transportation, meaning freight, people, or data. Like those to me are very basic careers that I feel that we need in the game.
Yeah, I actually I want to talk to you separately about people transport. Like I've got systems design ideas.
Okay.
I just want to see dread go in his eyes. No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's just
well,
the first ship I ever got to work on here was the Genesis Starliner. So like literally, I have been thinking about people transit for 3 years now.
You want some mixed master?
No, I don't want the mixed master. I love you, Tony, but no. We'll talk later. Literally, when I go home, Toast has to listen to me talk about how cool people transport would be, and like I don't know.
Are you thinking like Fifth Element, or are you thinking like where you get to like roll into beds and then they go to sleep and you do that, or is it like Transport Now where I just flew from 11 hours.
Yeah, you know,
and
I
it
mean,
sucks ass.
like picking up people as though they were cargo, but it's cargo that can interact. It's cargo that can have story. It's cargo that can. It's like while you're transporting these people, they can give you new missions and stuff like.
It's
And,
breadcrumbing.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Basically, it's like interactive cargo with personality.
Okay. I can
Is how I see it.
I can understand that.
I'll pitch you later. I'll pitch you later. Sorry. It's a thing. I've been thinking about it for 3 years. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and guys. I see a couple questions about jump points. I'm gonna go ahead and say that's we have the public roadmap right now where you can see our entire development slate for a year out, and jump points is not on that. When we start to get past that point, we start to get in the realm of speculation and intention, and it would be cool to consider this and stuff, but we're not going to have much in the way of hard answers for that kind of stuff.
Even 3-4. I mean 3-4, 3-5, 3-6. Like depending on the team's velocity and trajectory, you know, there's changes that happen to those based off of, you know, us either not finishing a feature or the feature needs more polish, or we, you know, and came up with an idea of how we can make that feature better, or even CRs like, look, this is the highest priority for the company now, like object container streaming. So therefore, that's going to have, you know, knock-on effects on things. So, basically, our goal is whenever we're, you know, in that quarter, like that thing's fleshed out. We know what we're doing, and then everything else kind of from there is
work the problem in front of you.
Is our best guesswork.
Yeah. Yep. And that's the nature of game development. I mean, it's a lot of people. There's a misperception out there that all the answers are figured out ahead of time. And that, because that's how construction works. You have to plot out every single intricate element and blueprints and everything before you send guys to a crew, to a site and start building.
Right, but there's still building issues that people come up against. And I mean, in Frankfurt, or in all of Germany, they still find bombs.
That's true. That's true.
You know, that they got to go and dispose of and deal with that stuff.
What are you doing?
Hi, Sean.
Hi, Sean Tracy. How are you? How are you? Hold on. Let me go to the other camera. What are you doing here? What's going on?
He's lurking.
Here, put that on there. I'm supposed to be playing, but I've been so enraptured with Todd, I haven't been playing.
He's been.
How are you?
Oh, we're still in the demo section.
Yeah, literally. This is as far as I've gotten. We've been playing.
I'm gonna play.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna let you play here. Let me switch to a different camera there. We're gonna play there, and then we turn those on. There we go. All right. So let's see. You play. Let's see the whole C status. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you it's still on hold for the time being. There's just a lot of dependencies. They have to figure out how the full unfurl thing, and honestly, it carries so much cargo and whatnot. We need some additional work on just cargo in general before we introduce something that can basically slaughter the entire economy if you're not careful. So yeah, it's got a pin in it for the moment.
Well, the other thing that needs to happen is right now we have our cargo works off of one SEU, and obviously for the whole series, we need the ability to have the larger SEU. Just from a frame rate standpoint, it's going to. Why do you have 4 freelancers?
Why wouldn't I have 4 freelancers?
Okay, I'm gonna mine.
All right, what have you been working on, Sean?
All kinds of stuff. We got a lot of visitors this week, so it's been good. We've got some graphics programmers in here, so we're looking at hair, which is fun. We're looking at some cloth stuff. We're looking at all kinds of little bits of R&D here and there. Yeah, we've also got the lead tech animators over here, so we're talking worms, we're talking big worms, small worms.
Worms?
Crazy.
Don't even.
I know how much Todd loves them.
Loves them.
You didn't like the sandworm?
I like the sandworm. I didn't like
sure
the timing that it happened in.
And the implication it makes, which is Tremors.
Oh.
Stanley Rocks.
It's a fine movie, Sean.
Yeah. You know, there was a new one. It's amazing. It's as amazing as you'd expect.
We see this question come up quite a bit. Any new info on how IFCS is going to change going forward? It's going to continue to develop and iterate just as it always had. Our own David Colson has taken over work from John Pritchett. John Pritchett has been training him for the last couple, I think it was last couple months actually. So it's been a handoff that's been
yeah, maybe to add a little bit to that, like the tools they develop now for IFCS, like in the newer systems, are so much better. And better in terms of like the iteration speed. So David Colson and his team have set up the in-editor sort of thruster tweaking. So basically, they can really sit there and iterate super fast on the actual thruster tweaking. Just to give you an idea, what they had to do before is we have these sort of standalone XML files that they're typing in values, reloading, trying, typing in values, reloading, trying, typing in like it was just the loop.
Yes.
Even though it's like a 2-minute thing, it's still it's something different when it's just like 2 seconds for them to actually tweak it. So it's pretty cool. I think the tools make it so that they can really hone in the flight better.
And I think right now, actually, as we speak, I think we should be going to PTU today with some ESP changes that Colson has been doing, and so same with God, we gotta fix this. And same with oh, come on. Same with Andrew Nicholson.
Yeah.
So like they've been going through and setting that stuff up. So
it's also important to remember that we have a development team that's over 500 people now, and even though you see more developers in our broadcast than you will anywhere else, you're still only seeing a small selection of them. It tends to build the perception that these are the only people that work on these things, or these are the most important people that work on these things. And in some cases, like Todd, that's the case. Not so much with Sean, but oftentimes it's just important to remember that there's a team. There's a team of folks that are working on any given feature.
Definitely.
So when you see a departure like John Pritchett and stuff like that, because he's the only person you're talking to or you've seen or whatever, it tends to build up perception that, oh no, it's up in the arms, and like there's a team of
only some of us want to subject ourselves to being on video and stuff like that. That is definitely not the norm for a typical programmer. You know, to get Nico Schultz or something like this on video would be just an amazing feat. But yeah, I mean, some of us are more comfortable than others going up on video and getting subjected to the chat role of either Twitch or YouTube or to a lesser.
I got a follow-up question to your hair thing. Afro?
My hair thing. Yeah, we have afros. They're already there. I mean, they're already in the character grader, I thought. Or it's a I probably should.
Maybe meant for you.
For me, yeah, no, there's no chance. No chance. That ship sailed 20 years ago.
Let's see. How is bind culling coming along?
That's a good question. Have to ask the network guys.
Yeah, we don't. Fortunately, we don't have the personnel here to answer that question. Let's see.
Oh, they're working on it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the big stuff coming up, man, is object container streaming, bind culling.
Yep. I'm gonna refer you to last week's RTV, and had Chris Roberts on there. He talks a lot about 3.3 and object container streaming and what's necessary for it.
I love this.
Somebody's delivered you a chair. Cool. If you want a chair.
Oh wow. Yeah, sure. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, my belly's just hanging in the shot. That's the problem.
This is
we were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, Todd was very kind to me.
Yeah, you're watching the Hangout.
He knows how to motivate me, though.
You're watching the Hangout stream.
No, that's cool.
Let's see, Disco Lando. How much UEC can we now buy via the RSI store? I actually don't know. I think there's still a daily cap. There's just not a max cap anymore because people had just superseded that already. So I think at the moment there's no max cap, but there's still a daily cap, and I think it's 25,000. But that's not a thing that I'm confident enough that I would say you should quote me on that. You could just go to the website and try to buy a lot of USC right now, and then you could tell me. It's a marketing answer. All right, let's see.
Is he playing on live or is it?
Yeah, he's playing on live.
Cool.
I was watching. What moon are you approaching right now?
Yellow.
Yellow. You ever hear that Yellow Yell song?
Yes.
Do you want to hear it again?
No.
No. No. Okay. What is the issue with MFDs and HUDs that go blank depending on where you look in the cockpit?
That go blank.
Well, that go blank based off of you looking in the cockpit. That's a new one. I know, like when they become basically unreadable when you look at bright,
Sure.
Bright areas, but that's something that Zane and Ali are very aware of, and
There is viewing
I want
angles.
I want them to fix.
Yeah, there is viewing angles on the screen. Like the screen will be more or less readable. Like there's a sweet spot to the monitor shader and the UI, but I doubt that's what they're.
And that's because all our screens are diegetic in the universe. It's just like you would see in real life.
Yeah, and the shader that works on top of it is pretty cool because then it just has an angle to it.
Does anybody at CIG actually use HOTAS or dual sticks? Yes. Mostly it's QA. Mostly it's QA.
They clutter the desks.
That's really what it is.
problem.
That's really what it is. It's just desk clutter. It's
exactly. And I need my coffee. I need my Facebook on the phone, and I need
So
and
some
I've
of the
got a
system
HOTAS right
designers
here.
also do.
Yeah. But a lot of QA though. Absolutely does.
Yep.
And I hope you guys noticed that the hardware IDs got fixed up. This was way back to my old.
That was a big one.
Quietly chase that one down.
Yes, the HOTASs are now linked to the Windows IDs and not they're not linked to the hardware ID and not the Windows.
ID, not the Windows ID. I remember that coming up, and I chased that down a little bit because I felt bad because I gave kind of a non-answer to it.
Yeah, but no, that's one of those neat instances of a direct correlation between RTV and actually affecting the development process.
Yeah, I keep teasing QA a little bit about me finding bugs on Reddit. Before I see them internally, and usually they exist. It's just like listed as something else or whatever.
How would you pronounce that, Todd? Guinness?
I have no clue.
Guinness?
I would say nice.
Nice. That's a nice deposit.
It's a nice
deposit.
Nice deposit.
So, Todd, this is obviously tier 0 implementation of mining. This isn't all it's ever going to be or whatever. But are you happy with it?
I'm very happy with what the team did, and the team on this one was like the core team was very, very small, but obviously they got support throughout the company, from graphics, from scanning. This was definitely a group effort. And sorry, I'm a little bit slow on mining. I take my time.
You don't want your. I've seen prospectors explode and go barreling across the surface.
That's half
moon.
the fun.
I love to watch the co-op mining. That was a neat thing.
That was really cool. I was actually talking to Chris about that. I'll tell you, honest to God, right before RTV last week, I said one of the coolest things I've seen is I saw 3 people go and mine the same rock together, and he was like, "Did it work?" And it's like,
awesome.
yes, and that's what's awesome about building these game systems. Instead of building a result, you're building the game systems and let the players
giving the tools,
giving them the tools to do emergent gameplay.
Verse box even.
Oh, come on.
It reminds me of the first time we saw a ship in Quantum. It was a Starfare, and then a Merlin backed out of it, and it was also still in Quantum. And it's in Quantum. We were like, how is
oh yeah, I remember
there was like a 2-hour-long conversation in team chat on Skype.
Worked?
Like everybody in the team trying to figure out how is that working? Like what did we do that made it so that ship that left another ship in Quantum could stay in Quantum? And cool. And like, oh yeah, it was this system working with this system, and it was really cool. And that's what's awesome about making these emergent systems.
Somebody asked about the face over IP stuff.
Oh, here it's gonna blow. So.
Oh.
I'm gonna blow.
Yeah, we'll go to a different one. Versus ruining my ship.
All right, somebody asked about face over IP.
Yeah. All right, nuke 'em, Rico.
Do you?
Yeah, the face over IP stuff. So just so everybody's aware, it's intrinsically linked to voice over IP. Just to give you an idea
because the face comes from the voice.
That's correct, actually. And the way we actually couple the data together, it's the way we synchronize the face and the voice together. So let me give the classic, I guess, Sean explanation, where I want to give you all the stuff beforehand. So VoIP itself has, a certain amount of data throughput, but to give you an idea, the actual face data on top of that is about 1/10 of what the actual VoIP data is, because when we're sending the face stuff, it's actually, we're embedding in on the same data stream as the VoIP stuff. and it's nice because it's not that much overhead that actually connects into the VoIP transfer protocol. So we don't send like JPEGs or video or images or anything like that to the client. We approach it very much under the same mentality as we approach it very much under the same mentality as we approach it. I got like this crazy.
Yep, it's done.
feedback.
I fixed it.
Okay, so we approach it under the same mentality as we approach procedural planets or anything like that, which is we send the instructions to the client to how to rebuild what's happened on your client, basically. So we send a whole bunch of data over, the client rebuilds it, but it's all connected to that VoIP data. So what's more important for VoIP is that VoIP works, and what's important for VoIP to work is that the group system works, and that basically is chat, group system, and all the rules that go around that. So the VoIP stuff is more or less complete as in terms of me sitting here with a webcam driving my face. That works. Hook it up to the character creator or whatever. We'll have some fun with it. But we're just waiting on some group system stuff, which is happening for this release. So as group and VoIP comes online, VoIP comes in with it at the same time.
I went to AT&T Shape, which was a expo held at the Warner Brothers Studios about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and Faceware was there. Faceware was there, and they had the demo going there, and it was cool.
The CitizenCon one.
Yeah.
But where you're in the bar. And
we're in the bar.
Yeah.
But it was cool to watch other people, not Star Citizens in any way, shape, or form, sit there and just be amazed and
yeah, it's
how
cool.
well
And there's new stuff coming up right now. Like I'm getting a new build from Faceware shortly later this month, and one of the big things that they solved was the calibration issue. So the calibration issue, what I'm talking about, is you have to manually calibrate. So that means you've got to stop for a frame, look to the center of the screen, and hit a button to calibrate yourself to the neutral. So they're bringing online this new system that auto-calibrates. So basically, you set up your calibration once, you just say calibrate, and as you're talking, it's going to find your neutral, and then it's going to map that to the face. So this was kind of the biggest quality problem that we ever had, because you could lose your calibration as you were sitting there talking. If you lost your face and then came back in, sometimes the neutral wasn't the same. So this is a super nice thing that'll come in before it actually rolls out to the player. So again, auto calibration. But the next step is just having some good settings and these kind of things. But I don't want to beat that to death too bad. But,
are people going to find ways to get them to say calibrate?
So what do you mean? Say the word?
Yeah, so it fucks up.
Calibrate.
And you could calibrate yourself, like cross your eyes and do like a silly face or something like that, and calibrate yourself to that. So that's why it's nice to have the auto calibration, because then we don't have to rely on, the neutral state
like
of
a
a
wrecking
face.
ball?
I was going to stick my tongue out, but I saw an interesting question. He goes, obviously, we're about to introduce one about like tomorrow, but soon we're going to introduce component degradation for ships and stuff. And they were asking how that's going to work with Vanduul ships, because there's a number of player-owned Vanduul ships, and I got the answer for you: Asperia. Remember that the Vanduul Glaive and the Vanduul Blade are not true, authentic Vanduul ships. They are Asperia reproductions of those ships. The Asperia, it's like Jurassic Park. It's not like they're not natural dinosaurs. They're genetically modified dinosaurs. So Asperia, who are manufacturing these ships, they can manufacture the parts. And whereas the Scythe is the genuine article. The Scythe is the genuine article, and that's why it was provided once and never provided again, kind of like that. One must imagine that Asperia, being in the business of creating replica Vanduul components, could provide components for it as well. And and if that's not the answer, I'm gonna go back to Dave Haddock and tell him that should be the answer.
Yeah, somebody asked about are facial expressions going to change the way the NPCs react to you? Nope. Not right now, and I'm not sure that would be the greatest idea. What I'd like to see is that the NPCs have an idea where you're looking, which could totally be done because we've got the pupil tracking. I always thought it'd be a funny demo to have, possibly a female standing there. You're sitting there talking to her, and if she detected your eyes were drifting south a little bit, she would just, explain, my eyes are up here. It would have a really interesting immersion factor, I think, if you had to think twice about how you're looking at your NPCs or whatever. But yeah, we can know where your eyes are looking, and I would love it if we can get the floating reticule actually mapped to the where you're looking. So like the floating crosshair.
Yeah.
If we could map that to the pupils, but it sounds better than it actually is because I've tried it a little bit. The problem is you look around a lot,
Yeah.
and sometimes you don't want to look exactly where you're clicking. A lot of the times gamers we're too fast. We just look around very quickly and then click, 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 click. So I don't know. We're trying it out, but it doesn't feel right now. So
Todd, a question came in. We covered this on Calling All Devs a little bit, but we've seen it. I've seen it 3 times already. What about changing the colors of the HUD? You know, giving the player customization options as far as the color, or adding a drop shadow to certain things, or.
So, well, I mean, right now, I think we have a decent first pass on everything. First pass.
Mm-hmm.
The things that we're missing are basically the kiosks where you can actually rent ships, the rec front end where you can rent ships that way, the FPS map, so that being a 3D map versus the map that's currently in there, and then from there we have a laundry list of improvements that we want to do, and I view those improvements as higher priority.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I want to make sure that the HUD's legible. I want to make sure that the HUD is.
Before we give them all the colors and stuff.
Yeah, that star maps working the way that we want it to work. The MFDs are actually working the way that we want them to work, and very, very useful before we can
Yes.
make it.
From a
pink.
troubleshooting standpoint, while you're developing, you also don't want to necessarily introduce a bunch of variables that your testing community can then start messing around, because if they say, oh, like the question before, like the HUD disappeared or whatnot, if we introduce the ability to change the color or change the way it displays, now we don't know where the source of that issue is.
I mean, fun fact is that the original all the original implementation of this, actually, that was all exposed for the designers in DataForge. They could change it at runtime even, actually. And I think for a while, actually, even one of the really, really early releases of Arena Commander, like back pre 1.0 type stuff, they were changing the colors, but exactly to your point, it just became a problem of constantly iterating against the possible color that the guy has. So I mean, it's going to have to be a more clever solution than just colors.
The short answer is that it's not done. We're still working on it. What else do we got here? How you doing, Todd?
Good.
I didn't. Thank you for playing the game, because I can't talk and play at the same time. It would seem.
It's another VoIP. These are just the common question I'd like to answer on the VoIP and track IR. So just to people ask, does VoIP do track IR? And it's actually 2 different systems. It's part of VoIP, but yes, there is head tracking. It is not a replacement for track IR, though. There is latency that exists in the webcam implementation that wouldn't exist in the track IR situation. Is it cool for flying around and just kind of looking around? Yeah, totally. Is it good for combat? Hell no. I've tried to aim with it, and it's just there's a little too much latency in it. It's a nice experience. It's still really good for head tracking, but it's not for combat by any stretch of the imagination. So yes, that will absolutely be supported. It already is. It's on a shortcut to the for us right now in the editor, but generally it's going to be an enable in the options. It's going to be up to you whether you want that on or not, and it's not like we're talking right now about what actual features you're enabling or not. And the big differential is that we're going to make VoIP and the face tracking one thing, and then the head tracking another thing. So basically you can enable one or the other or both if you want. And that's that. But yeah, you'll be able to have the head tracking, and I was just playing around with it. Yeah, we just got to tweak the multipliers, because right now it feels noisy, so it's a little too amped up. And that's about it.
Question says, why did the Harbinger and Sentinel get delayed? Delayed's a bit of a misnomer. We had a schedule for all of our ships at one point, and then we revised the schedule for all of our ships, and then we revised the schedule for one of our ships. It wasn't anything specific for the Harbinger and Sentinel. It's a matter of priorities. It's as as we know, as like something like mining comes online, obviously a prospector is going to get higher priority. As needs for Squadron 42 arise, those ships get priority, which is why you have something like the Reclaimer playable now, because it was necessary for Squadron 42, as you saw in the vertical slice last year. It's just the priorities change. It's not a decision generally related to one specific ship or another. It's an overall global thing. It also has to do with availabilities. Not every ship artist is appropriate to work on every ship. You know, some artists have a style more akin to Origin, and some artists have a style more akin to Drake. And as those artists become available and stuff like that, you tend to rearrange things. Okay, this person's available, so we move that to them. Or this person will be available, so we give them a ship that's appropriate for them to work on. There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of factors that go in. Most things in game development, there's not just one reason for any.
Generally, you don't try to change out your artist halfway through a painting, so it's kind of the same mentality.
Yeah, and it's like for any kind of art, you wouldn't. Robin De Niro is a great actor, but you wouldn't ask him to play Dorothy in Wizard of Oz.
Oh, I would.
Okay, so would I. That's a bad example. I would do that too.
I would totally dig that.
So you have to look at your team. You have to look at the strengths of their team. You have to look at the availabilities of your team. Then you have to look at the needs of the game, and then you have to find the places where those match. Put those together when it comes to scheduling spaceships.
Why
Let's
are you
see.
being funky?
Let's see. Do we get bonus rep for staring into their eyes? Will there be such a thing as pappy eyes?
Please no.
No. We can't put pappy eyes in the game. Nobody would get anything done.
Please no.
Just be there staring at NPCs all day.
I gently hate you.
Gently. I have to work harder.
Somebody was asking if quantum linking is in. Of course it's in.
Yeah, quantum linking's
It's
in.
the live game right
We're just not playing with any friends right now. So.
Is it going to go through the asteroids?
No.
Oh, Ranger.
No, it's not. Yeah, nice.
That was cool looking.
I love the quantum splines. I think it's super cool.
Do we have an estimate for when we'll see kiosk item images show up? At the moment, there's no preview.
The RTT, Hugo is currently working on it, and that to me is one of the main factors for 3.2.1.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was yeah. Kinda hit that one a bit late.
Some other gyro stabilization and some other turret fixes. I don't think turrets will be implemented fully the way that we want them to be, but those are kind of the two big things for Chris and I on. So,
any updates on hangars worth mentioning?
what kind of hangars?
Player hangars.
Player hangars.
Player hangars.
A lot of them are legacy art, and so the upkeep of those is a pain. The other thing is that we've got the transit system that's currently being worked on, and so that's going to be a big thing that we need to get done, and then that will actually help our elevators, and just elevator setups right now for the guys is extremely painful, and so we want to make sure that we can actually do those first, and then once we get that done, then we've gone through and rebuilt modular hangar setups and stuff like that. So now that's kind of one of the first passes.
Hi, Mark.
Hey,
How you
how's
doing?
it going?
Slide over this way so we see it in the little screen there. There we go.
There we
Mr.
go.
Abent.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Drinking some coffee.
Drink some coffee? I don't see you.
What time did you get in
It's
this
over there.
morning?
This morning?
Yeah.
This time I came in at normal time.
What's a normal time for Mark Avent?
I came in at 9:30 today.
Oh my, that is
I know.
super late. That's
super
not
late.
Yeah.
for you.
Yesterday I came in at like what 5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was 5. You picked me up at 5.
But got to the office by 5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I towards the end of the week, I'm in here at like 7 o'clock in the morning because I got to do this calling all devs calls with developers who are in the UK and whatnot, and
Or
you're always in
Germany.
here. Yeah, or Germany. Yep. Yep. Of course, that goes back to our days in Santa Monica. There'd be times I'd get in at 6 o'clock in the morning. You'd be just in time to watch you unlocking the doors.
And I just wave, hey,
Like,
how's it
hey,
going?
there's Mark Avent. That's how I met Mark. It was early in the morning.
A I love morning times.
Yep. So we are just about wrapping up. We're going to take a couple. A few more questions. While you're here, though, I think this is probably a good time to mention. As we talked about last week, with our changes to our show programs, the way we were breaking things out, smaller and more digestible pieces. Most times you wouldn't know it by looking at this show, but this show's on Twitch. It's different. We are for the foreseeable future. There's no time limit on this. I'm not going to say it's forever. While everybody's making a focus on object container streaming for 3.3, everybody's making a focus on Hurston and four brand new moons for 3.3, and then all the wealth of features. We are putting Bug Smashers on hiatus for the foreseeable future. So that I have the grim duty of being here to announce that to the world. And is there anything you want to add about that?
It was a fun ride.
Move the mic closer to your mouth.
There we go. Sean Tracy's head is bigger than mine, so I had to shrink it down. But yeah, had a fun ride with that. You know, when we were a smaller studio, I was just a little lad. So I was able to get some time to show the world the amazing bugs that we've had. But nowadays, as kept getting promoted and promoted and promoted and promoted, I'm now a lead gameplay programmer, and my time is it's hard to get some time to do these videos now that I have to lead a team.
Yep.
So hopefully maybe in the future, who knows, but for now I just don't have the time as I did before. I'll miss it. I loved it.
Yeah.
And well, the videos will still be up there, so
yeah, it's important to remember. It's important to remember that we are a we're a game company and not a video company. It sometimes gets lost by the sheer volume of video content that we put out. But it's very important that the dog wag the tail and not the other way around. You know, we want to make compelling video content for you. That's literally my job. I've been content manager for a year and a half now. I've been in charge. I've been on the videos for 3 years now. We want to make the most compelling and interesting video content for you but at the same time, it can't ever negatively impact the development of our game. It's always a delicate balance. And yes, over the next 3 months, as many of you have figured out, we've got 3.3 coming. We've got CitizenCon coming, October 10th. Just as we need our guy, and 3.3 is the biggest. It's intended to be, as Chris said last week, the biggest patch of our year. So as everybody's got to hunker down and focus on that, we need to make some adjustments to our video content. So we're gonna put a pin in Bug Smashers. I don't think it's the last one you'll ever see. I don't think that's the case. But
just on hold for now.
Yeah, but I can't tell you when you're going to see it again. We're going to restructure our video content a bit. ATV is just going to be more news focused and updates of the week for a while. We're going to try a couple different things. You're going to see a couple different changes to ATV over the next couple months. You may have already noticed in this week's, while it was much shorter, we do have the on-screen graphics, over the shoulder stuff, and branding. Where we're still tweaking some stuff. Ship Shape's going to break out as its own thing. We're still going to do the RTV follow-ups to those things. So we're still going to do the question and answer stuff. Calling all devs isn't going anywhere. So yeah, at least not yet. Anyway, nobody's telling me nothing. But yeah, I just wanted to have you on and thank you for your service. Yeah,
well,
I don't
just wants to thank the fans because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to make it.
Yeah. Do you know how many episodes of Bug Smashers we've done?
I lost count. Do you know how many?
I do, but I don't remember it right now. I looked it up beforehand, and then I've absolutely forgotten now.
There was a point where it was like every other week.
Yeah. For a couple of years, it was every single other week, and then there's the episodes that were embedded within ATV, and then we broke out, and there was at least 100 episodes after we broke it out. So yeah.
100 episodes of Bug Smashers?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. That's
you do know how many?
It is 74.
Those are 74 of the broken out ones.
Yeah.
But remember, we did it for a whole year inside ATV.
Oh, that I don't know.
Yeah.
So, well, when it was its official show, it was 74.
Yeah, but you got to count. You got to count the episodes of Bug Smashers that aired inside. I really think we crossed the 100. I really think we crossed the 100.
Oh yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
That's
Hey.
a lot.
How you doing, Justin?
I'm doing good. I just wanted to come say farewell to one of our beloved shows. Well, hiatus farewell. Maybe it'll return.
I love the
It'll return
low-res
rebooted
console, by the way.
Fox
Yeah,
in
the team
place
did a good
of
job on that.
American Idol.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll let you get back to work. Thank you for stopping by, dude.
Well, until next. Well, I don't know. Until we'll see.
We'll see you on
Yeah.
RTV, or we'll see you on ATV, or whatever, or whatever. You're not going away or anything. You're
Just gonna be hiding in the
you're
back
gonna be working
corner.
more. That's all.
I'll be in the back corner. When you flick on the light switch, I'll go. All right.
All right.
See you guys
Later,
later.
man. All right. So, how much money did you make me?
I don't know. I wasn't even thinking on this stuff right now.
Because you're playing on my character. You see, I have 33,000 AUEC right now.
Well,
I love this UI so much. It's the sounds too.
yeah.
It's the sounds. So, all right, Todd.
Well, I made you enough to last maybe a minute.
Well, it's more productive than I would have been. We have some kinks in the system to work out. I have to learn how to talk and actually control the thing at the same time. It's a skill that real streamers have. And,
Oh, yeah.
I do not possess it.
I can't.
I do not possess it.
I have brain farts all the way through.
So thank you so much, Todd, for
dang it.
taking your time to be here on the show this week.
You're welcome.
Thank you for offering.
Yeah.
It's not often that the people they offer. I usually have to ask, but Todd offered. Todd's a good one. I like Todd.
Well, I like to be here for the community as well, so
Right.
be able to answer any questions.
Let's see some let's see the housekeeping before we let you go. We had that 4th of July fireworks contest that happened on Wednesday. I think the winners for that are being announced today. If they haven't already, but check Spectrum if you entered that and want to see if you won. I saw some amazing images in there. Our ships do blow up good. We've also got the 600i commercial contest that's going on right now. It's your chance to help us make a ship commercial for the 600i and win fabulous fame and fortune in response. Additionally, the Drake Vulture, a salvage ship, the Q&A for that post went up Wednesday as well. So if you've seen the ATV ship shape segment, if you've seen the RTV interview segment, now you've got the Q&A for more information about that ship than you can shake a stick at. You can check that out, and the promotion for that wraps up on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. It's possible there might be another week to it. But it's wrapping up soon. So if you're still been on the fence about the Vulture, you can check those 3 resources and see if it isn't the ship for you. With that, we'll be back on.
Hold on.
Please, both of you, stare into the camera. Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that at the very end. Then Monday, calling all devs. We'll be right back here. We got a twofer. We got John Crew and we got Luke Presley, vehicle pipeline director, and Luke Presley's a Star Citizen live
Game designer.
game designer. Basically answering your ship questions and answering your questions about the persistent universe. It'll be another good one. So for Reverse the Verse Happy Hour Bonanza, we don't have a name for whatever this format is. Content manager for global video production, Jared Huckabee, and that's.
I'm Todd Pappy,
And you do.
Star Citizen live game director.
And now we're going to stare lovingly into the camera until we end the show. Hold on, let me get this right there. There we go. Okay. Hold on, wait.
Smolder. All right, hug it out.
I don't know how to smolder.
Hug it out.
I don't know how to smolder.